Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at HBAR. Before we jump into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. In the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Check it out, it is free to join. Okay, so let's get into it. So effectively, I'm still looking at the potential that there's a couple of ways of counting this. So depending on what happens off the top of this move here, will depend on sort of which option is more likely, in my opinion. But for the most part, we could argue we've had a five-wave structure into this high as an A wave here. So we need to be aware that this could also be a fourth wave as a flat. So we need to just be a little bit careful within this. However, as long as we do have a five-wave structure here, if we do find support in this range, we can look for that progression to the upside again for this either as a C wave or a bigger five-wave move. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this zone. So if we're looking at this as completing into this high point here, what we'd be looking for effectively would be three-wave structure down for this B wave. So we can see here this is quite a small move in comparison to the move up. So if we do just get a three-wave structure here, what I would be on the lookout for would be something like this, where we get a three-wave move here, we get a three-wave move back to the upside, and then actually we look to drop back down. So this is something we need to keep an eye on. If we're looking at this from this point, we could still get a more complex move where we form a three-wave structure. We move back up here, take out some of this liquidity, and then look for that drop for that fifth wave. So the ideal target range for this would be towards this 382 and this 50% if we're going to be having a complex wave 2 here. I'd look between that 382 and that 50%, and that would actually line up with this previous structure here. So it would be an interesting zone to see how we react on. It would potentially also be a retest of this trend line here. So we could actually look to move back into these zones here and look to retest this area. So that's what I'm looking out for within this. We do also have to be careful if I come in here. We could still argue that this move could be extending out here, where if we wanted to argue that it was um, an impulse forming, we could get a series of 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, and then push down and start to actually break down in bigger five-wave structure. So we're going to talk about these possibilities and we're going to go over them. But at the moment, all we have is a three-wave move here, where this becomes an A, a B, and potentially a C. So within this structure here, there is still the potential to come down slightly deeper. I'm just going to throw this on for a second just so that we can have a look at that five-wave move. Effectively, this is what I'm looking at here as a 1, 2, potentially this is a third, looking for this as a fourth, and looking for this fifth wave to the downside. So this 772 area to the 750 area would be where I'd be looking out to target for this fifth wave typically. But if we measure this first wave within the sequence here, we can see that that 1618 would actually bring us down to that 70763 if we do start to break down for this fifth wave, and this is a wave 1. So that would potentially mean that we could see a little bit more of an extension here where we actually look to push past the 754 area. And then we could actually look to push down a bit deeper. If we did extend this part, what I'd be looking out for as a potential target zone, if I just throw this onto here, get rid of this one. This 618 area could be an interesting zone if we do look to pass down deeper, or alternatively, the other way that we can look to measure this is that potentially we could see this move down to this 1-to-1, which would be the 761. So if we do move down there, that would be the area that I'm looking at. And then it would be important what happens next. If we do get a move to the upside here again, and we only get this in a three-wave manner, where we get a wave A, B, and a C, into this zone here of this 0885 to the 0838, then we could still argue that we could be looking to actually extend this to the downside. So really, if we want to look for a potential bullish move off the back of this correction, what we want to do is take out this high point here, and we want to do that in a five-wave structure. So we'd have to see how this plays out, but we need to actually take that high to eliminate the extension from this point, and then ultimately taking this 9887 to remove the possibility of actually breaking down here. So the idea within this structure is, like I said, if we do get this just playing out as a three-wave move, what I'd be looking out for, where is it? There would be a move potentially down lower here into this 668 to this 6442 zone. If we do move into this zone, what I'd be looking for is basically to see this, like I said, form a three-wave move here, potentially form a three-wave move to the upside, then break down in a bigger five-wave structure as a flat correction potentially. Or alternatively, we could start to develop into a five-wave move from here, and then we could actually get this playing out where this becomes a 1-2. We get a bigger drop down here for a 3-4-5 into this zone. And then that would open up two options that either we could look at this move from back here as a flat correction, or alternatively, this would then become an A wave. We look for that B wave, and then we look for that C wave. If we do form a five-wave move down, we'd have to be careful though that it doesn't turn into a bigger structure where that becomes a 1-2, and then actually we look to take this low. So that's what we're going to have to be careful of within this within the structure that we have here. So that's the one way we're looking at it. The other way that we were looking at it, and this is what I was saying, depending on how we form this correction, we could actually look for this deeper yellow five-wave move here, where this becomes an A, a B, and then we're looking for the C wave. So the typical target area for the C wave, based off of this A wave, would actually be here at the 640 to this 592. So if we do move down into this zone, that could be a potential area we look to target out. The 1.618 of this wave here, which would be the typical place you'd want it to travel, would actually be this 640 zone. If we do move down into this area, there would then be a third wave location with a fourth and a fifth, potentially down into this 0621 to this lower range here, which doesn't have a mark. This is 0590. So if we do get this move down like this, then we could look potentially for this to be a flat correction as a B wave, and then look for that C wave to the upside from there. The other way that we are talking about it, and this is just looking for the potential to actually extend higher up. We were talking about this option, but we actually crossed this wave one, so that is invalidated. But this is not invalidated yet. And this would be looking for a big extension from here. So if we look at this as an A wave into here, or a five-wave structure into there, we could argue we could be starting to see some extension within the waves. So what we'd be looking for here is the fact that we have this as a 1, looking for this as a wave 2. So if we do start to break substantially above this high from this point, and we do look to push up higher towards this 1443, and we hold this zone here of this 0817 to the 0733, we could look for that push to the upside in the third wave. If we do get that push, then that could be actually a third wave completed. We'd look for a fourth and a fifth. There's no confirmation of this yet, but if we do start to see bigger impulsive structure to the upside here, that could be potentially what we are looking at. If we do complete this move up here as a bigger five-wave pattern, what we'd have to be looking for is basically this additional fourth wave here, looking for that support zone, and then seeing whether it respects that. If it respects that zone, then we could look for another five-wave move up into the zone here of this 1922. This is not my favorite expectation here, but it is still possible for as long as we hold these key zones. As long as we hold this 817 to the 733, we can look for this possibility to extend up. If we lose this 733 and the lower range here of the 0676, if we cross these lines, it would invalidate these potential extensions within the waves. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're keeping an eye out for here. We can still see that potential to progress to the downside. So it's going to be important whether we can move up again past this 0922 on the retracement here. If we fail to do that, then it would probably indicate to me that we have got further to drop down here to the downside. So the 1-to-1 also of the C wave is a 0736. So if this does just progress as a three-wave move and we fail to move down to that impulsive target, this would be a zone I'd be looking out for. If we move down, like this as a three-wave move, like I said, we'd have to watch this move back to the upside. If it just develops in three waves, it would indicate further downside. If it starts to develop in five waves, then we could be looking for that bigger push to the upside. So keep an eye on that. Everyone, I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also while you down there, have a look. There are affiliate links for BYBIT and Prime XBT in the description. Using the affiliate links does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.